Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff Podcast. My name is David.
I'm Colin.
And I'm Matt. Wait, no, you're Olin.
Olin
Oh, you
Weaver.
already said it. You started off the episode wrong.
Oh, man. Because there's a certain word that we can't say that begins with the letter C, and I made it very clear. So I already broke my rule. But going forward after this, can't even say my name.
But you just said the word can't.
Oh, shoot. This is hard.
Shucks.
Okay.
And this is where we talk about all things Star Wars. And right off the bat here, I just want to acknowledge all of our fantastic patrons here with shout-outs for the purple tier: Chris Simpson, Kevin Leininger, Devin McCaffrey, Drew Peters, and Zach Netzel, who's a new member on the red tier.
Thanks for joining.
Fenrir 526, Matt Heath, who's been with us for a very long time, Maya Morris, and on the black tier, Amaka Tawatala, Nathan Shank, Evan Opaker, Liam McCallion, and just joining today on the green tier is Jackson. So thank you very much, everyone.
And if you don't know how you can get mentioned on our podcast, you can go to patreon.com/Stuff Podcast and become a podcast member of our Patreon. And I want to get to the point where we don't have enough time to mention all the names. So we're going to have to start displaying them on our screen. That's the point I want to get to. So if you're listening right now and you are like, how are those people getting their names mentioned? That's how. They're part of our higher tiers. Not higher tiers, but our mid tiers, I guess. Which tiers specifically, David, can they become a part of where they get specifically mentioned on our podcast?
So starting at the purple tier, and here's a picture. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can see exactly all the perks that you get.
Check it out.
Book reviews, our stories podcasts, access to our merch when we do purchase it, access to past and future TV and film commentaries, which we're set to record a few of those, unboxing videos, personal shout outs on the regular podcast. That's where it starts. That's what we're talking about. Galaxy's Edge adventure videos, which are really good. And then there's the red tier that's right above it, $25, access to our clothing merch, which I will make a public service announcement right now. There was earlier today a post on our Facebook group from someone that we do not know talking about new merch for the podcast. That was not legitimate. So, but it is flattering.
Yeah, I would say because it fooled me. I was like, wow, we're doing merch.
Oh, I love that.
No, I was like, oh, cool, we're doing merch. I mean, I didn't know.
We would tell you that. We would let you know.
I thought David just passed it and cleared it, and I was like, wow, cool. And then
you would be in the loop on that.
They were like, sure. Someone posted in the group, and I was like, oh, well, there you go. I don't know this person. We should probably delete that comment. But
they're not on the council.
Yeah.
We didn't grant him the rank of master, for sure.
Oh, I love how Matt's making that joke. That's funny.
And of course, an inside joke there. Black Kyber Crystal Tier, thank you so much for everyone that's a part of our Patreon. We love you guys. And of course, we try and podcast every day on Patreon. And we've had some really interesting podcasts. We've talked about a little bit of inside stuff on the podcast, and you get to hear more of our opinions. So
Sabak talk.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's all good.
It's all
so
fun.
The first thing I think we need to talk about is probably the biggest Star Wars related news, and the fact that we are going to get a Cal Kestis sequel prequel.
Yay!
But it's not going to be a video game. It's not going to be a film. It's not going to be a TV. It's going to be a novel. And this was on the Del Rey Instagram. It's going to be called Star Wars Jedi Battle Scars. And if you're looking at YouTube, there is no cover. There is no artwork quite yet. But it is coming. And there is an interesting report out there on Bespin Bulletin. But I do want to read what's on StarWars.com.
Wait. Matt, did you say that you could not read? Because if you don't want to read, you can always go on our free trial on audibletrial.com/stuff podcast, where you get a free code for one free book, and most likely Jedi Battle Scars will be on there. So
You and I
There you
both
go.
know that I've already used that, but okay. That's a good plug right there. Good
welcome.
solid effort there for the team. You didn't say it, quite like I do, but you did pretty good. You
All
got it.
right. Well, I'll just talk deeper next time. All right.
That's
Anyways,
that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about in the way in which I say it, not the demeanor in which I say it. Those different.
this bit has gone too long. David, continue.
It's been going for a bit.
Well, I mean, there is a sub level bit that has been going on that I haven't made you guys privy to, but yeah, we're not getting paid by Audible anymore.
I take that back.
Then why on earth have we been?
There is no Audible
giving
trial.
them advertisement for months.
Well, here's the thing: you guys have been saying it. I haven't been saying it. You guys have been saying it, but the link still works.
Okay. Whoa.
Wait, so our
Whoa.
listeners can still get a free trial.
Yeah, you can still go
We
to
just
Audible.
don't get credit for it, which is something we can handle in house later. I will
Yes,
contact our lawyers.
This
It's
is a
all
whole
good.
different meeting we got to have, David, because you've known this and you didn't say anything.
Probably
Well, I
shouldn't be
made sure
having
it was
this
still
conversation
active,
on our live,
so it is
whatever.
still active. It's just we're
We're
not getting
getting no
paid for it
credit for it.
anymore. Well, I think they did something to where they shut down the old system and reactivated a new, totally brand new system. And I've applied for it. And I just never got a response back. But the link is still working, and I definitely want our
We should
listeners
get
to
like back pay for
Um,
all of the advertising
Okay.
we've been
Well,
doing.
Audible, if you're listening, which I hope you are,
They're probably not.
check out that link.
Yeah, they've been
My
pretty good to
goodness.
us in the past. And
That's so
yeah,
funny.
when new books have come out, yeah, we've made some pretty good money off of listeners signing up. So yeah, feel free to still use it. We'll probably be back with them in the future, but yeah, getting back on target here. There's going to be a Cal Kestis book coming out,
Yes.
and StarWars.com released an official article. I'll read a little bit of it here. It says the Star Wars Jedi experience is expanding your bookshelf. Lucasfilm announced today 2 major releases tied to the Star Wars Jedi game series, of which the Cal Kestis faithful will want to take note. One title promises to tell an original story, while another goes inside the making of the upcoming sequel. Star Wars Jedi Battle Scars, a new novel from Del Rey written by Sam Maggs, finds Order 66 survivor Cal Kestis leading the Mantis crew on an adventure set between the critically acclaimed Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and the highly anticipated Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Star Wars Jedi Battle Scars arrives March 7th, 2023. And The Art of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, published by Dark Horse, will chronicle the development of the game, collecting concept art and creator commentary in an oversized full-color hardcover. The behind-the-scenes tome will hit shelves May 2nd, 2023. A release date for Star Wars Jedi Survivor has yet to be announced. So this actually gives us some information in regards to the release of Jedi Survivor. So typically, these art books don't release until after the actual media releases, like for Mandalorian.
Right.
So that kind of tells us that it looks like we might hit a March release date for the new Cal Kestis Jedi Survivor game.
That's been kind of ever since PlayStation kind of messed up and they actually put it on their store saying that it was going to come out in March, and then they took it off. That's always been the speculation. But the original rumor was it was going to drop around the same time as Star Wars Celebration of next year, which sounds like it's not going to. I'm very excited. I know a lot of people in the podcast are excited. I love the first game. I'm replaying the campaign for it. I can't wait to explore more of these characters and explore new planets. But something else that a lot of people weren't talking about, I talked about it on Wednesday's podcast. It was that Cal Kestis in this game will have a lightsaber and he's going to have a blaster. So there's a chance that you'll be able to switch back and forth. Now, a lot of people are comparing it like, oh, well, We saw Obi-Wan Kenobi do it. Now Cal's doing it. And actually, one of the first Jedi that we ever saw do it in canon was Kanan and Ezra. Those are the two. So I think it's funny that people are comparing it to mainly Obi-Wan Kenobi from when he did it in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
And of course, we saw Luke fire blasters in A New Hope.
Yeah. Well, right, but not as they had their lightsaber and blaster at the same time.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But in in Empire Strikes Back, did he have like a holstered blaster?
Yes.
At the same time that he had his lightsaber, though, right?
Correct. But we actually never saw that combo. When in Rebels, we actually saw that combo used.
Yeah, because it was built into the hilt, so like he didn't really have a choice.
No. I am talking about Kanan. Like, do you not remember when like Kanan had his blaster? He would block and pull out his blaster, and then he would go back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about that.
Okay, because I was never really a fan of Ezra's hilt. I thought it was.
I am not talking about that disaster. I am talking about because I thought his blaster was like cool, but at the same time, it was I was really hoping he would kind of fall out of it, and then when Vader chopped it up in season 2, it was like nice, cool. Now he has to make a new one. So, but yeah,
this is a pretty interesting question that you just pulled up here.
What difficulty did you guys play Jedi Fallen Order? I went for easy story mode difficulty to avoid spoilers.
Thank you for reading it because I can't read
of the game's release. Well, I would say go on Audible, but
that's not okay.
Yeah. So when I first played the game, I did medium. The second time around, I did I believe the hardest mode on there is Jedi Master. But yeah.
Did you play Jedi Master?
I did, and it was
okay. You didn't say you just said it existed. Yeah, the first time I did it was on medium, just because like easy is like stupid easy.
Yeah,
and like it's just crazy. The AI is just so like nerfed. But I didn't want to go too hard on it because I wanted to focus more on the story, but also get the feeling of getting some kind of challenge out of the AI and the story and some of the bots that were going on in there. I haven't replayed it in a few months, and I have yet to do it on Jedi Master. There are some spots that I can't think of specifically at this moment that if I did on Jedi Master, I'd probably end up with a controller through my TV screen because of how like mentally difficult they were. Like, I can't remember which ones. There was like one where they're like on the planet with all of the scavenge planet, and like you have to like get out of it or something like that. And I just couldn't get out of it for like 45 minutes. It was upsetting for sure. But there's always like that something in Star Wars game. Like in like, you guys remember in like Star Wars Lego where like you're on Geonosis and you're flying around in the gunships and you just like you can't get past that level for like a half an hour. So I guess it's tradition for one section of a mission of a Star Wars campaign to be disturbingly hard.
Which I'm glad that we're in the topic of games because we've got the new.
Did you mention Lego Summer Vacation?
I'm not.
Okay.
No, that's no. I'm past that. I mean, that will always be something awesome to me. But this is what I'm excited for. Because in when D23 happens, we're actually getting the first games panel at a D23 Expo. And what's exciting about that is they said that they will be talking about Lucasfilm games and they'll be talking about Marvel games. Now, because they said Lucasfilm games, that's to me that's indicating they will probably talk about the new Indiana Jones game coming out. But not just that. They also specifically said they will talk about the Lego Star Wars game that's out right now. And it sounds like they're going to be adding more content to it. Now, we don't know what content that will be, probably more characters, Hopefully, character customization, because that's what everyone has been asking for. And I love the game. I'm still playing it. There's a lot of characters unlocked. There's a lot of ships to unlock. There's a lot to explore. And certain creatures and characters are presented differently. For example, there's a level where to unlock Yaddle, you have to go fight the Crate Dragon on Tatooine. And I went to go fight it, and it had 4 legs, and it looked like an actual dragon. And I was like, oh, interesting. So it's very interesting to have a different perception for all these characters and creatures like throughout a Lego game. But I'm very excited to see more content on there, and most likely we'll also get hoping to get an actual trailer for Jedi Survivor, and then hopefully we also get more insight on maybe the other Star Wars games they've been talking about. Because for the Knights of the Old Republic, apparently it has been delayed, like not like canceled, but delayed because of the new people that took over wanted to pick it back up. Now will probably come out later, which is, disappointing, but if you're doing a remake of such a classic game, then you got to do it right. So I'm okay with it. But what game are you hoping that they'll announce, David? Because there were a bunch of Star Wars game announcements of where they were like, this company is doing this game, and then they just were not saying the name of it. So what game do you think that would be?
I would personally love to see a first-person shooter, a lot like a Halo type game. I would love to see something like that. I know we got Battlefront, and it's more third person, but if they could use those same kind of game mechanics, I think that would be really cool. It would be a twist on what they've been doing. And have we had, since Republic Commando, have we had anything that's like a first person shooter?
I mean, technically, if you count the Star Wars Battlefront games, because you can bounce back from first person to third person. Okay. So I guess you could count that. I mean, every time that I'm playing online, I jump back from third to first. But if I'm playing the campaign or I'm playing instant action offline, I'm always going first person. But yeah, no, it's you're right. I really hope we get something like that. I think the world would lose it if they were like, here's the game 1313. If they brought that game and just put it out there,
yeah,
people would lose their minds because of the gameplay from that canceled game. It was incredible. And that was years ago. Could you imagine a game coming out like that now that was Star Wars?
Yeah, that's in all honesty, that's the move, Colin. They do that. That's like top news right there.
Yeah.
I totally forgot.
I'd love a remastered version of Knights of the Old Republic. You guys remember that PC game? Anybody?
That's the game that we were talking about.
Like, you want to have that remastered though, or are you talking about like a?
What's a remake? They've already done a remaster and they've released that. But now they want to do a total remake.
Where
stories and such.
Where most likely the elements of that game would be canon. Because right now the old game is technically not canon. Not all of it, at least. It's if you think about it, it's kind of like the Lego Star Wars like shows where there are elements where you're like, oh, that has to be canon. And then there's other parts where like, that's definitely not canon. And that's probably where the old games, Knights of the Old Republic, fall in line. And then there's, the games like The Force Unleashed, where those are definitely not canon because of the timeline in it. It wouldn't make sense. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to answer Zach, our patron, that just put in that question on YouTube, the difficulty I played it at was pretty much what I did with same as Matt, medium. I didn't want to have it too easy, too hard. I wanted to see what the gameplay and then the story was. I wanted to kind of get through it. But it's going to be an exciting time because I keep on thinking about it's going to be, hopefully it's Andor, Bad Batch, then we lead into Mandalorian Season 3, then Ahsoka, and then we get Jedi Survivor. So it's just a full slate of Star Wars, like nonstop. So
Hello.
You shaved
there.
again?
I did shave again. Thank you for noticing.
You're
You
welcome.
look like a
ladies
young
and gentlemen,
Alec
James
Rickman.
Herrera is here.
James Herrera.
The one and only.
Can we also talk about like the Lord of the Rings comments that we're getting here? Because if it's
Yes,
like
that's
off
actually one
topic,
of our topics. Yes,
watched
for sure.
Lord of the Rings for the first time, such a cliffhanger, and then someone said, I just got the extended edition 4K version and I have yet to watch it. I probably haven't seen the ultra cold cut of those movies in 10 plus years and don't remember much of them. I need to get on it. And
Yeah,
they're
you're
right.
running out of time there, big fella.
Because in a couple of weeks we are getting the first 2 episodes of the Rings of Power. Not all of us are very optimistic as I am. Looking at the corner that way.
Are you
But
talking
yeah,
about
no.
David? Just use his name.
Yes, thank you, James. No, but yeah.
But I'm also on the page with a little bit of both of y'all. I'm just kind of like, let's see how it goes. That's my whole thing about Lord of the Rings and the Ring of Power is just let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes.
The first 2 episodes will be dropping on September 2nd, and then you have the rest of the episodes that will drop every Friday from then.
Well, Colin,
I looked it up. It came from the official page. Don't try and debunk me. I looked it up, David.
Okay, nerds.
Well,
Let's
Colin.
keep this on Star Wars stuff, okay?
I'll pull it up.
So I saw something that I thought was official that it was going to release at 6 p.m. Pacific time. I think on the
Pacific.
1st.
9.
No?
I saw 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's
Right,
6
6
Pacific, big fella. Math is hard.
But
So yeah, also another report came out on social media that the first 2 episodes are going to be released theatrically. That hasn't dropped yet.
That I didn't know until like David said it, and Matt and I instantly went to go look and see if there were tickets
We're like,
because
hey,
I
hold
would
on.
They
love.
both got on their phones trying to buy
Dude,
tickets.
I would lose it. I would love to see that in the theater. I remember. I mean, I don't remember seeing any of the Lord of the Rings in the theaters, but all the Hobbits for sure.
how old are you, Colin? I'm just kidding.
I'm 18. No, I'm just kidding.
Because I
So
remember
how old were you when
legal? All right.
Fellowship came out? Colin?
Yeah, how old were you when Fellowship of
Let's
the Ring came
see.
out?
I'm 26
2001.
now. The Fellowship came out in 1999, 2000, right?
2001.
2001. Okay. So math is hard. Somebody help me.
I don't know. Jeez. What year were
So
you
like
born?
you're like 4 years old, 5 years
I
old?
was born in 1996. I was not 4 years old.
So 6, 7.
I was 5 years old. Right?
Off by 1 year.
Yeah, so don't get so mad at him for that one. How old was I?
Yeah, and it came
I
out
was,
in December of 2001. So
December of 2001, and then
I was 3.
next year. December.
I was 3 years old.
I just remember seeing Gollum and Smeagol for the first time and being like not being blown away by the character as much as like
well, this CGI is intense.
well, yeah, like the motion capture that Andy Serkis did for that was incredible. And actually, Andy Serkis was one of the main reasons why that I really got into doing voices and stuff like that. Because I've never heard a voice like that before. Like I just remember sitting there and be like, "Enter us, Hobbitses, you stupid fat Hobbitses," and I was just like, "This is
pretty
amazing."
good. That's actually really good.
I love Andy Serkis. He's
This is
such a great actor.
Colin's ego, and this is what you're doing, James. You're just stroking it away.
So what's interesting about seeing Gollum and Smeagol for the first time in Two Towers was that we had just gotten Dobby from Chamber of Secrets right before that, and so that was like first you had Jar Jar, which was huge,
Yeah,
and then when you saw Dobby, it seemed like we took a step back because of how Dobby looked compared to how Jar Jar looked. In my opinion, I don't think Dobby looked as good as how Jar Jar looked in '99, but then when Gollum comes out of Two Towers just a couple of months later, it was like, holy crap!
I know. Oh,
Like, there's some shots
so
of him
good.
like they did close-ups of him, which I'm like, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. But anyways, yeah, I was there. I saw Lord of the Rings in theaters. David saw Lord of the Rings in theaters. It was
Before you go
awesome.
any further, James, I just like to welcome everyone back to the Lord of the Rings Stuff podcast.
Yes, thank
And
you for
yes,
I tried. Okay.
Hey,
I was the voice of reason, which is a really bad sign when Matt is the voice here.
well,
but I tried.
That is true, though. I'm not gonna lie.
well,
That is
so the way that we can tie Star Wars into this is because of
very- Andy Serkis.
and Industrial Light and Magic actually did help with some of the effects for Lord of the Rings, right?
That's a stretch.
Which effects did they do for Lord of the Rings? Because I thought it was
Really?
Weta.
No?
Well,
Weta
here's-
Digital did.
let me explain it.
They were in charge of the trees.
So back in the year of our Lord, the 1900s, 1997, 98. So
That's
Peter
why they
Jackson
helped.
and crew took a trip to
That's right.
San
That's right.
Francisco and
Right.
visited ILM.
Right.
And they talk about it on the appendices of the extended editions where
Right.
ILM gave them a lot of advice on what to do. They told them what you should do is do animatics, and that will greatly help the production. And that's what they did. They did animatics, and they got a lot of advice from ILM. And Peter Jackson did give credit to ILM and assistance with helping them design and create and move forward with one of the greatest trilogies.
So
of all time.
henceforth, there is a connection to Star Wars, so it's okay.
There's
because-
lots of
There's a
lots
lot
of
of connections, and Peter Jackson was a huge fan of Star Wars because he said he was
Right.
13 when the first Star Wars came out. So he said he got it just right at that age.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys right now, if you haven't watched the Light and Magic documentary on Disney Plus,
Oh,
go
yeah.
watch it.
Yeah,
Because that thing is so Matt. That thing is so breathtaking because it really does show you how much it really does show you like not only of all the cool things that they did with Star Wars, but really the birthplace of special effects and how it came to be, and George Lucas's real image, because of mainly for years the main thing that was focused to the public was George Lucas's storytelling, but they really never talked about the real story of special effects.
Yep.
And this really dives deep into it, and it shows you that if George Lucas didn't talk to all these people and bring them together, a lot of things would not exist right now. Not just Star Wars, but just things in general. Because if Industrial Light and Magic didn't exist, we would not have Terminator. We would not have Transformers. We would not have Avatar. There are so many
like
films.
dinosaurs.
Yeah, there are
Yeah,
so many films that would not exist without George Lucas bringing everyone together. And that's why George Lucas to me will always be my biggest role model, because I love bringing in people together and networking and all that stuff. And I definitely learned that from watching documentaries about George Lucas and just growing up with it. So honestly, guys, go watch it. It's such a phenomenal documentary.
Yes.
Yeah, he had that belief. It's like, where did George Lucas have that belief? Where did he get that from? How did he know that this was going, or did he maybe not know and wasn't sure and just said, let's just do this?
Well,
there's no try, you know?
So he actually did get some inspiration from Walt Disney, because he actually went to Walt Disney World, not Walt Disney World, to Disneyland, the opening year, and he went on the second day. So it's not the first day of opening, but the second day. And George Lucas went, and George Lucas was so blown by it, and he was like, well, I have this whole world in front of me and I'm standing in it. I would love to bring that to life. And that definitely helped inspire him to make all these other films. So, it's incredible that one person can inspire an entire generation. And that's exactly what Walt Disney did. That's exactly what George Lucas did. And I can't,
Jim Henson, Steve Jobs. I mean, there's a lot of those people.
So many. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Well,
he's got my gears in my mind turning about this.
I got you, man.
There's so much stuff we could talk about in regards to
I know.
George Lucas in the documentary.
This podcast is not sponsored by ILM or Disney.
how great it would be though. Like that would be the
Right.
best.
Yeah.
I mean, after that speech as Colin gave, they might give us a look.
There is actually something podcast related that is sponsored by Lucasfilm that's coming up here,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we actually
Sponsored
might
by
be
Audible?
involved. Possibly, I don't know, but yeah, there's a big Make-A-Wish podathon that's happening in September, November, I believe, in that time frame. I've seen different dates, but yeah, we've inquired and we've notified them that we would love to be involved for Make-A-Wish. I was just at a Make-A-Wish event yesterday for the 501st. And it's always great to
You fly in?
help. No, it was actually in San Antonio at the Whitty Museum, which
That was
is
a
our
joke for a TIE fighter, but whatever.
Yeah. I was a TIE pilot. There's actually 3 of us, so yeah, it was pretty cool to take pictures. That's primarily what we did. There was an auction. They were auctioning off vacations and items that were signed by athletes and celebrities. And the prices for these things were astronomical. So I believe they did raise a whole lot of money for Make-A-Wish. So yeah,
Love
it
that.
was
That's
awesome.
good. For a good cause. I noticed somebody asked what difficulty did you guys play Fallen Order on, and I know you already
Correct.
talked about Fallen Order. I put mine on story mode because I just really wanted to see the story.
Story mode.
Yeah, and
Wow.
that's the one where they can hit you like 1,000 times, you're not going to die. All right,
Right.
So
That's
cool.
like
And,
it's like putting like a
know
GTA
that.
cheat on. and
yeah.
you're
So
good.
I did that, like I said, just because I was so into the story that I was like, okay, I really just want to experience it. So that's why I put it in story mode and I played it and played it twice. It's pretty cool. But what else? What else is on the agenda?
Yeah, I did want to swing it back to the Lord of the Rings because that is one of our topics, and we spoke about it, I believe, James and I on Patreon daily. But some huge news in entertainment happened that not a lot of people are talking about. There are some people, but there is this company that's actually affiliated with the Knights of the Old Republic remake. So there's a Star Wars connection there. They are called the Embracer Group, and they are a Swiss video game company that has now purchased the rights for the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit.
Oh,
And there might be some confusion because, of course, we all know that Amazon Prime or Amazon owns the TV rights for the Lord of the Rings, but that's just the TV rights.
Right, not
This
the movie
other
rights.
company, the Embracer Group, owns everything else, which includes TV, film, board games, theme parks, stage plays. They own it all now, and I believe the reported amount was they paid $750 million, which sounds like a bargain to buy Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yes.
As long as I don't see a Lord of the Rings musical on Broadway, I think
It's coming, dude.
Like,
I think
where's
it's
my
happening.
precious? Where was it? Like I no, just no.
Wow.
Yeah,
can
so
see
so
it now,
if
really.
I'm pretty sure you have seen this, you probably just totally forgot about it. But when Viggo Mortensen, who played Aragorn, went back to his native land, they had a big premiere where I believe his fellow countrymen created, I believe, the Fellowship and the Two Towers on stage.
Yeah.
Before they screened Return of the King, and it looked pretty cool. The actor playing Gollum actually looked pretty legit. So I'm kind of interested to see kind of a stage play for Lord of the Rings. I think it could.
Yeah.
If they do it right, it could be something very, very special to see a musical, or maybe not even a musical, just a play of Lord of the Rings on Broadway.
Getting some like Lord of the Rings wicked vibes, you know.
There you go. You know, there is an interesting connection to Lord of the Rings, which is George Lucas, when he was writing the initial drafts of Star Wars, he did envision, you know, Luke and the heroes being small, being almost Hobbit-like, because he liked the idea of just because you're this big doesn't mean you can't do something great. So he actually
Size
did.
matters not.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why when you get to Return of the Jedi, the Ewoks are small. Like he was like, okay, here they are. Like this. That was kind of his reference was Lord of the Rings, which
With
I
the
think
Care Bears, right?
Yeah. But yeah, just the fact that, and then plus Willow, when Willow came out, that was another big deal. Was like, he goes, okay, well, it's not a tall person, it's a smaller person. So this is, you know, they can make a difference too. So yeah, that's another connection with Lord of the Rings there with Star Wars.
Yep. And of course, George Lucas somewhat kind of based Obi-Wan Kenobi off of Gandalf, the wise sage wizard that shows up. And also Dave
Ahsoka?
Filoni with Ahsoka
Yeah,
the
so
White.
White.
We constantly refer to her as Ahsoka the White. So there you go.
With the
which
staff
we
and
will
everything.
probably which we'll probably see that in the Ahsoka series of that
She's
scene
got a pointy
from
head. Pointy
from
hat.
Rebels. So I am very one does not simply make a musical. Nice.
All right,
You
what
gotta
else
say
do
like
we have
this.
here today, David?
Well, I still want to stay on this topic. So I
okay.
have a little bit more to add.
He said, "Hold on a minute.
Yeah, James is like,
We're not
oh, okay.
done with
All
Lord
right.
of the Rings stuff podcast."
One more thing. So it kind of begs a question, since Embracer Group now owns Rings and Hobbits. There's a lot of speculation now. Are they just going to go all out now and do spin-offs for certain characters and maybe do some more films? Are they going to maybe jump in the TV show realm? Are they going to maybe contact Universal?
I thought you
and
just
say-
said that they can't do TV shows because Amazon owns the rights.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I misspoke there. So
Okay,
films, but spin-off, I mean, I think about
Yeah.
films and TV is interchangeable now. So they could do spin-off films.
Wait, so Amazon only exclusively has television rights, but not
Right.
film rights. Those are
Which
different.
that's kind of a game changer in a way, because right now a lot of people love streaming. There are some people that don't go into the cinema anymore.
Which
So
is, like a good
I guess-
example of that is like Marvel, like with Netflix, where they did those TV shows, but they couldn't do Marvel films, right? Is that right? Because they did like Jessica Jones and like Luke Cage. Those were like Netflix.
Those characters couldn't show
yeah,
up.
that was
Right.
before Disney Plus.
yeah, that
Right.
yeah, that was a weird deal. That was yeah,
and that
but,
was when Marvel was split in two, when they had a TV
Right.
side of the house and a film side of the house.
Right. So I guess Lord of the Rings is kind of in that same realm right now, where film and TV are very separated.
It's apples and oranges, really.
Yeah.
But I mean, this Embracer Group ownership now, they have the ability to do so
Yeah.
much more media than anyone else prior to, because Saul Zaentz was a company that owned Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit for decades, and they finally sold for some reason.
So
And-
I'm with you on them contacting Universal and adding stuff from Lord of the Rings. I've been saying that for a long time, because every
That
single
would be
time
great.
that
Like,
I
you can go to
go
Hogwarts and then you
every single
take over
time
to
that
Middle
I
Earth.
walk through
Yeah, that'd be so good.
Universal
Whoa.
no yeah so every single time I walk through Islands of Adventure, and I end up walking through the Atlantis area, like
where
with
Poseidon's Rage is.
yeah that take all that out and just put like stuff from Lord of the Rings in there, like of like the Shire and maybe the Mines
Gut
of
it.
Moria. Just add that stuff in there. I think people would
like
flip
a miniature
out.
Twin Towers, but it looks.
Oh
huge.
my gosh, yeah, no, that would be so cool. Like,
it feels like the Embracer Group could make all their money back on that deal alone, right there.
I know,
Like
I
1
know.
billion, boom, do it.
Yeah,
Because
For
we're all going.
sure.
Yeah.
I'll
'Cause
be an
we're all
annual
going.
pass holder if they
Yeah.
do that. I'd be like, I might like Universal more than I like Disney at that point when it comes.
And
to
they
I
did a
am actually
spectacular job on the Wizarding World. It's
yeah.
just great, man. It's just so good.
But yeah. So in other Star Wars news,
Right,
well, I guess
Star Wars
actually
stuff.
no, it's not Star Wars news, because David, what movie did you see recently?
My brain did not calculate that for a second.
Yeah, I didn't either until I saw the lineup. I'm like, yep, that's right. It's not Star Wars. it's
They
something
didn't fix the reflection in his headgear. You can still see the mountain range.
Oh, I see. Man, they messed
Oh
up.
man.
But
Oh,
there is
terrible image.
so
Not
there
getting it
is a connection though with. There's not a connection, but
There's
like,
lots of connections.
There's, yeah, but there is. Like, no. We're not lying, Colin. Like, there's a huge like what they do at the end. You're just like when they were. I'm watching that in the movie. I'm just like,
You're just
The way
like
they
DiCaprio.
shoot that small projectile into a 3-meter area.
yeah, and I'm like, and you have to go through a trench to get there.
Yes, I know that. I'm
Yeah,
not
switched
I'm
off
not-
their targeting.
The assault
computer.
tactics and strategy are very similar. Yeah.
And then somebody shows up at the very end who wasn't a part of the mission and saves the day at the last second. And you're like, Okay, that's
And if
our-
they don't
our-
destroy that compound, then planet-killing abilities may ensue. Oh my gosh,
I know, but I will
guys!
say though,
and our
they did it
hero talks to their dead friend / mentor figure.
during that moment when he's like, there was a lot there. Like toward the end of the movie, as the climax of the movie was building up, I just remember going like, "Oh my gosh, this is the ending of Star Wars." Like, no one is
It's
anyone else seeing this right now?
no
yeah,
wonder
everyone-
why
we're
I
talking- we're
liked
talking
it so
about-
much.
What's
So
up?
yeah, I just want to say spoilers if you haven't seen, which I think
yeah.
everyone has.
It is
except for me
past that
today.
point, David. We just explained the entire. You will have to.
We're talking about Star Wars. I swear.
We are live now, so it's like it's too late at this point. At the beginning of the actual episode, say for those who haven't watched Top Gun, spoiler alert, and
Please
people will be like, "Wait,
disregard."
what?" And then they'll just have to listen to the entire episode until it gets to the Top Gun point, and they'll be like, "Oh."
So yeah,
Okay.
if you're of a certain age, my age, I was a little kid when Top Gun came out, and it was a really big deal. A really
You're
big
old.
deal. Yeah, I'm 41. So yeah, it came out. I was a little kid. I could see all my cousins, my aunts, my uncles talk about it. It was like VHS to have and the movie to quote, and it was a big deal. And so many decades now have passed since Top Gun has come out, and it was almost kind of laughable that a sequel was coming out. It's like, I mean, Tom Cruise back being a fighter pilot, okay.
30
But,
years ago.
As fate would have it, Top Gun Maverick surpassed Infinity War this weekend in
I saw
box
that.
office gross.
That's crazy.
So it's the movie of the summer in 2022, which is an incredible sentence to utter.
I can't.
But
believe
yeah,
it's still
Tom
growing.
Cruise did it. I mean, he did it, guys. I mean,
Yeah,
he's-
there's no denying he made a huge movie, and it was good. Like it was a
Yes.
solid, to the point where you look at the original movie and you're kind of like, man, this is nothing. It surpassed the first movie like immediately, and it was disgusting at how well that movie is. Yeah, true. Yeah, we were talking.
I
about
was
how-
thinking about that the whole time, and I was like, "Don't do it."
They
Don't do it.
well, so I was hoping they would play. I was happy when they played Danger Zone at the beginning because as soon as they played, I'm like, all right, this is the only time that we'll
iconic.
hear it.
It's iconic. Yeah,
But I wish that they played the song you lost that lonely feeling. I can't think of the name of the song.
Unchained, not Unchained Melody.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, that love and feeling. Yeah, that's
You
that,
lost that love. Yeah, that one.
yeah. Sorry, Mob Rules. For
Sorry,
spoiling it
we
there.
totally just ruined the whole movie for you.
But it's
yeah.
gonna hit streaming next week.
Well, we
actually,
said it kind of all out of context, right?
I believe.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. We're good.
But yeah, there's tons of Star Wars references in Top Gun Maverick, so look out for those. And one we didn't mention was I
That like
initially
part
thought
in
it
the
was-
cantina where Maverick ran into Chewbacca was just it was nuts. No,
And
wait,
then
that
he
no.
shot
blaster
first.
bolt on the wall that was the Galaxy's
Yeah.
Edge reference. But no, there was the phrase, paraphrasing, don't think, feel, use your instincts. Qui-Gon said that to Anakin and the pod race, and of course Obi-Wan said it to Luke in A New Hope in the trench run. So
And then
Yeah,
that's
there's
why
that one, too.
Maverick turns off his targeting system and does a blind eye. Woohoo! That's it. Yep. Yep.
Okay. Well, since we're on the topic of like not Star Wars, apparently, I'm just kidding. No, but actually, it kind of does tie in. Have you guys watched the show Orville?
yeah, I've seen the first season, and
Yeah.
it's really, really good.
Yeah, no, I'm
With
I'm
Seth
on the.
MacFarlane.
Yeah, no, it's really
Really good.
good.
It's really good.
It gives me
Yeah.
Star Trek vibes for sure.
Right. It is
Well,
essentially a
yes.
Star Trek clone in a way, but it's not Star Trek.
Like
Yeah.
comedic.
It stands on
And-
its own.
Yeah.
No. It's not fully comedic. There's like a lot
Well,
of
anything
drama
with
in it.
Seth MacFarlane, and it's gonna have some.
It
something.
was kind of starting off as a spoof, but then it turned into like to more of a heartfelt show. But I was just watching it, and there are elements of where I'm like, oh yeah, like I can kind of see the Star Wars element, more of Star Trek, but yeah. If you guys haven't watched that yet, that's on Disney Plus too. They actually just added
Jon
that.
Favreau directed.
That's
the
on
pilot.
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they moved it from Hulu to Disney Plus, which is kind of interesting.
I did not.
But I
know
think
that.
there are some older episodes on Hulu. I'm not quite sure, but if you're subscribed to Disney, you'll be able to find it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
James,
Colin said.
Yeah. James, is there any actual Star Wars news you want to talk about?
Well, no, I was going to say that the connection was Jon Favreau directed, I think, the first 2 episodes of Orville.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did. I believe. I believe he
Shoot.
was an executive producer on there for a bit, and then he left. But yeah, he
There we
directed
go.
the pilot for that show.
That makes
Very
sense.
Interesting. I was wondering how a show like that got off its feet. Now I know how.
There you go.
Well, I mean, Seth MacFarlane.
And
with
Seth
Fox,
MacFarlane's
yeah.
he's no joke.
Yeah, he's made him a lot of money. So yeah.
Like
There were a lot of it was really funny because there were a lot of cameos like from different things that Seth MacFarlane has done, because I won't tell you which episode, but there is one episode where Liam Neeson shows up and I'm like, oh, I was like, wow, okay. I was like, cool.
That's beautiful. Yeah,
he's show up with an umbrella hat.
Never gave Star Trek a chance. Only saw first reboot movie. Yeah, I haven't really seen any of Star Trek movies. I've just seen the.
You talking about like the
Abrams
Chris Pine
universe.
reboots?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that
I like
2009
those.
Star Trek was solid. Like that.
Those are actually
was more than solid.
Yeah, Into Darkness and Discovery. Those are pretty good.
My favorite story about that was JJ. The writers and the producers said, if we could make our wives cry watching Star Trek, watching a nerdy movie, we're doing great. And in the first 5 minutes of the movie, like one of the wives like kind of helped. She was like, "Good, this is how you start the movie." And they were like, "Yes, like this
Kill
is how
the
we're
dad."
Yeah, we're doing it, man. And they were like, once we knew the wives were into it, we are like, okay, everyone's gonna like this movie. And I was like, that's freaking
one of the greatest openings to a science fiction movie.
Oh, yeah.
ever, that Star Trek 2009. Special effects were done by ILM, and R2D2 was in there.
Yes, he's in there. He flies by
he
really
was.
quickly. And of course, Abrams, during the freaking making of it, what does he say right away? He goes, I am not a Star Trek fan. So I approached this as if I was directing a Star Wars movie. And I'm like, oh my gosh, dude.
And then
he did Star
Force
Wars. But what's really great, though, is me not being a Star Trek fan at all. Like, I left that movie going like, that was awesome. Like, that was really good. And, but I still like Force Awakens. I still like Rise of Skywalker.
We're not trying to trigger the Trekkies at all. Want our
Star Trek fans those are some loyal fans. like I have two.
It's like
of my
being
buddies.
a Detroit Lions fan. Yeah,
It's like being a Dallas Cowboys fan. What you would call it?
Which I'm a fan of all of those except the Detroit Lions. But
get out of here, bro. No, I'm just kidding.
But I have a couple things to add to
birthright.
that. As James said, J.J. Abrams directed Star Trek 2009 and then Into Darkness. And he had for me, it was a famous line. He dropped one of the all-time lines. He said that Star Trek is like classical music and Star Wars is like rock and roll. Hell yeah. Which is so spot on.
That's a
Hell
great,
yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's such a great way to put it.
I want to
though.
like head bop, but I'll lose my
Fantastic way
headphones.
to put it. Yeah.
He said he just needed that extra oomph for Star Trek for you to really invest in it. And I thought, like I said, I thought those were pretty good. I even Into Darkness was great, and then even Beyond, Star Trek Beyond, like that one, that was the last one they did. That one was freaking great too. And he didn't direct that one, but still, I thought it was a fantastic movie. But yeah, the Star Trek stuff podcast is also really good. You should listen to that one too.
Thank you.
No.
My brother is really into fantasy football, and every single year he's like, I think this is gonna be the year because like they got this guy and they got that guy, and we just drafted this rookie. And I'm like, dude,
see what somebody just said right now. I hope the Lions do great this year, but I'm a Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Cowboys fan, and you know what? This is our year, guys. This is our year for the Cowboys.
Tony Romo's coming back.
Programming note, I will be at the Cowboys game on September 11th. So
during D23. So
I swear, if you're not wearing a Star Stuff podcast shirt during that and trying to get on every single camera like that, I will be
I'm
disappointed.
gonna be like
in
this
you.
the whole time.
wait, there is a connection with ILM and obviously with ILM and Star Trek, but what's
Football.
his name? designed the logo for Star Trek.
Oh yeah, yep.
and
Shoot.
what was his name?
I know what you're talking about. I just watched this.
The old logo for Star Trek?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the original logo for Star Trek. He was like, I designed it. He goes, I didn't get any money for it. He goes, but yeah, I designed the logo for Star Trek. And I'm like, whoa, that's.
I remember that. I can't think of his name. I just know he had gray hair.
Well, yeah,
Dennis Murin?
not Dennis Murin.
William
No.
Thies.
Let's say Richard something or Robert, not Richards. Anyways,
Man,
Robert
I
Richards.
can't believe that we can't remember. I guess we got to watch it again.
So,
was it Enlightened Magic?
Yes.
Yes.
Huh,
Yeah,
I
he
must have
said it
missed
like
that.
magic. Yeah, I remember just
probably-
going like, "Whoa, that's a pretty cool thing to put on your resume." Like, oh, I
Yeah.
also designed the original logo for Star Trek.
That's a crazy side note. But yeah, keeping in the theme of films outside of Star Wars.
This is great. This is great. Okay, what else?
I got a lot to say about this one. So this film dropped on Hulu, which Hulu is a part of Disney. Which
I
owns
just
Star
saw it
Wars.
today.
Prey. So yeah, this is a fantastic film. The #1 premiered film on Hulu of all time, the most streams, and it actually beat the Kardashians premiere too. There's a
Good.
little side note for you.
And
Good.
it's like the #1 highest rated of all of like, the Predator films. Like it is like
Yeah,
I think it's like a
it's the highest rated.
93%.
Yep.
It's like wow.
Yeah, and tweets came out from the actors from the original Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger saying, "Great job, fantastic." The lead Amber Midthunder was terrific. She's got a bright future ahead of her. But I want to talk about the director of Prey.
Oh,
George
So-
Lucas came out of retirement. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, a fan of George Lucas directed this film by the name of Dan Trachtenberg, and I've been following his career with a lot of
great interest.
with a lot of great
Nice.
interest.
Nice, James,
And
nice.
That's what I did
yeah,
there.
so he started off as a podcaster. He was a
No, wow.
podcaster on the Totally Rad show. And him, Jeff Kanata, and Alex Albrecht did the Totally Rad show in the early part of last decade. It was a video podcast on a platform, a website called Revision 3. And what they would do was they all lived in the LA area. They'd all go to early screenings and they would have a blue screen behind them and show like the trailer of the film that they saw, and they would basically review the stuff. And Dan would always talk about wanting to do films. And of course, during all the podcasts, he'd talk about how big of a fan he was of Lucasfilm and Amblin, Spielberg, Indiana Jones, all the stuff that we love and talk about. And I think he got to a point where they all got to the point where they wanted to move on from the podcast and go off in their own directions. And he became a director. He released a short for Portal, the video game, and that's what got him noticed. And that's what got him connected to a lot of different projects. One that didn't happen, which was a huge graphic novel, very popular, Why the Last Man, was supposed to be a film. Didn't happen. It became a TV show, which I liked. He wasn't associated to it, but he directed 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is a pretty good film
That's a really good-
with John Goodman and actually Ewan McGregor's wife,
Yep.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She was
Wasn't
a star
at the time, but yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so the code name for that film, I know this is like deep cuts here. The code name for 10 Cloverfield Lane was Valencia. And I was following him on social media and he was dropping stuff for Valencia. Nobody knew what it was. And at the time, Cloverfield had been released. I love that film. But we didn't know it was a connected film to that franchise. But it was under Bad Robot for J.J. Abrams. So J.J. Abrams was watching dailies for Dan Trachtenberg's film 10 Cloverfield Lane on the Millennium Falcon set for The Force Awakens.
Oh, that's amazing.
So yeah, that's a little long drawn out, but yeah, I am a fan of Dan's, and he's doing the podcast circuit, and I've invited him to do the podcast here, and
Oh, hopefully we get him on.
yeah, surprisingly enough, I've been Facebook friends with him for quite a bit.
That's
and I sent him a message, but yeah, he's getting contacted out the wazoo because Prey is a great film. It's getting a lot of critical acclaim, a lot of streams, a lot of love. There was a new poster that dropped for it that I want to get and put on my wall. And
Plus, it's a good movie. It's
yeah.
a great movie. Like
Great movie.
it's not just the hype. Like it was genuinely fantastic.
So that movie is essentially like the like the prequel, right? Like to the entire franchise.
Not really a prequel. It happens way before the first Predator because the first Predator happened in the 80s. Prey happens in the 1700s.
Okay.
But I mean, it's not necessarily tied to anything. There is a scene where there's a weapon presented that actually has ties to Predator 2, which is kind of interesting. And a comic book run that happened, which is like loosely canon, kind of like their EU for Predator.
Okay. And then plus one of the characters. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
I also wanted to say that Dan, he was on the Filmcast podcast, and they're doing video now, and he was wearing a Star Wars hat while he was doing
it. Man.
And he referenced Rogue One as inspiration for Prey in the whole aesthetic to keep with the same aesthetic as the previous popular established film, which he did a great job with. I mean, it feels like it is almost a companion film to the Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator. And I want to have him on the podcast. And I'm hoping that he maybe gets contacted by Lucasfilm to do something Star Wars. And it's very much along the lines of Gareth Edwards directing a Star Wars film. And he's a huge fan, but I think he could do a really great job. And now he's got some skins on the wall. I mean, he's got all this goodwill towards him. It's like he's right there. He's wearing the Star Wars hat.
Yeah, it looks like he's really trying to get noticed. Like, hey guys, by the way, I'm a Star Wars fan, so I can do that too. If you're friends with him, let him know that if he needs to need like a production assistant for anything, I'm there. I got it. I got a lot of free time here in California. I can go there and I can help him out. So just throwing that out there.
All right, there you go.
But I will say this. I've never met him. I've never really talked to him, but I mean,
wow, the great Zach Holder said I used to work on Revision 3.
Nice.
And then he
also directed the first episode of The Boys.
Yeah.
Oh, and he directed Black Mirror episode with the guy that plays Bizarro Captain America.
Yeah,
Kurt Russell's son. I don't know what you call him now.
Wyatt.
What's his name?
Wyatt
Russell. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys haven't met Zach Holder, but I'm friends with him. He is such a nice guy, and he's done a lot in film. He's actually been an extra in the Guardians of the Galaxy
nice.
as well. So yeah, no, he's such a nice guy. But yeah,
awesome.
So shout out to you, Zach.
Watching, Zach. Yeah.
Oh, somebody. Oh, by the way, Disney does own Predator and Ewoks. Okay, so that's a movie that can happen very.
That's the crossover of our dreams, right there.
That is the greatest crossover in history.
Oh my God, who would win that?
Hunting predators. Holy crap, that would be
strength in numbers. Yeah.
And I also want to say this: if you do have Hulu, go out and hit play on Prey, even if you're not going to watch it. So you can watch the 20th Century Fox fanfare once again on your big screen at home. You hear the music; it's the same fanfare from the original trilogy, and I get goosebumps when I listen to that. And he luckily directed something where he could have that in front of his movie, and I think that should just be stuck back on the special editions. And I mean, Disney Plus should add that back since, of course, Disney now owns Fox. So.
Got it.
There you go.
Awesome.
Is there anything non-Star Wars that we have to discuss right now? No? Cool. All right. So no, I'm just kidding.
Good.
I have something Star Wars related.
There you go.
Star Wars related.
Yeah.
Star Wars stuff? Really?
I listened to this podcast called the Rough Cut, and it's a I don't know, the Star Wars stuff. No, it's called the Rough Cut, and what it is it's a lot of editors being interviewed like for their movies, like the editors of Elvis, editors of Bullet Train, editors of Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett. I went back and I was like, oh, he interviewed Paul Hirsch for Empire Strikes Back. That's awesome. And then so he talked about a little bit of his experience editing The Empire Strikes Back, and there's stuff in there that I was like, oh wow, I didn't. He was like, there was a whole scene of Han Solo carrying Luke Skywalker to the Tauntaun. Like they shot this whole ordeal of him picking him up, carrying him, and struggling and carrying. And Kirsch came in and said, he was like, watching people struggle physically is not entertaining. Just cut it out. And he's already there. And he was like,
I bet Harrison Ford loved that.
yeah, exactly. Right. He goes, and then Paul Hirsch said he did it. And he was like, it's perfect. It looks, he drags him and then he's there. That's all you needed to know. And of course, we all know that there was a whole ordeal with the oh my gosh, what were they called?
Snowstorm. Yeah.
The snowstorm. No, but the creatures,
the Wampa, the Tauntaun.
Wampa, yeah. The Wampas were like everywhere in the base, and they said it just did not look good. They said so they cut all of that out. They said it's not good.
Cut out the big arm scene.
So oh man, I can't think of the game mode, but in the original Star Wars Battlefront 2, they actually had a game mode of
yeah, I remember this
where you could either be the rebels trying to survive, or you could be a Wampa, and then you would storm the base, and you would have like maybe 10 or 20 Wampas going after the rebels, and you would just have to try and like hold them off for so long. But they had like super speed, and they'd be sprinting through the base, and just one hit would like smack you across the map
like this, and then like go like 40-50 feet.
and yeah, they said nothing worked. Those Wampas did not work back then. They said even the Wampa attacking Luke Skywalker, they shot a whole thing, but it looked terrible. And so he said that's why we did the Jaws approach, which was, oh, you can barely see him, that's why it's creepy. It's like, no, we did it because it looked terrible. We couldn't do it.
You are killing the illusion is what you're doing now, bro. No,
but that's stuff I like. I like that. I like that stuff where the editor will tell like, well, this is what we had in mind, and then this is what we did. And like one thing before is they were trying to figure out how to get the gun to fly from Han Solo to Darth Vader, and they had all this stuff, and they were like, okay, so here's what you're gonna do, David Prost. You're gonna throw the gun, but you have to make it look natural, and we're gonna reverse it back. And they were trying to figure out how to make it look natural of putting your arm back and reverse it and everything like that. And Paul Hirsch was visiting the set that day, and he was like, why don't you just toss him the gun? They looked at him and they're like, what? He goes, yeah, just stand off camera, toss him the gun, catch it. And he
didn't even like move his arm. He just like stayed there and like,
yeah. And so they did it. They said once he missed it because it took him a while. He goes, okay, where's it at? Okay, cool. And actually he goes, he caught it. That was it. He goes, all right, there's a So I thought that was a great story. So little things like that.
Saying that, James, makes me think of Kevin Feige, who did a podcast like 10 years ago on Nerdist, where he said, he was asked, how is Marvel Studios so successful? He says, like, if we see something that doesn't work, we just take it out. I mean, we don't like mull over it. I mean, if it doesn't work, we don't like try and make it work. We just cut it out, and that's it.
That's beautiful. That's why, I love that nerdy stuff, the editing stuff that just fascinates me. So,
well, that explains the change of Rhodey and Iron Man.
Exactly. Yikes!
Yeah, this didn't work.
This did not work.
Man, I love that actor, even though I can't remember his name. Yeah, Terrence Howard.
It's not really him. Terrence, he's like, I'm worth more money than this. And
yeah, he got paid.
They're like, no, you're not.
Than anyone else on that set, which was
no.
But anyways.
Yeah,
okay, what else? I know Colin needs to go here.
Baby boy's got bedtime.
All right. Well, was that it? Was that it for today, or are we gonna let Colin go? We continue to talk. We
can let Colin go. Let's continue the talk.
Oh wow! You know what? That's fine. That's fine.
We got a lot of comments to read here.
I will just say it though. We are no longer sponsored by.
That was good.
That was a very She-Hulk end credit scene there.
He did that. All right. Anyways,
didn't touch anything.
Oh
no! Get out!
Oh, it cut me out. I don't know what happened.
You just ruined it. No, we thought you.
No, it cut me out. I don't know what happened.
Accident.
Yes.
We thought you just. Oh man.
Man, you ruined it.
Now you're not cool. Before you were cool. Now you're not. Now you're just trying to fill the hole.
Hey, fine. I'll leave it in this, Matt. You're on this council, but we don't grant you the rank of master. All right, bye.
It would have been great